Hi, this is video 10, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about psychology and a little bit of the past of what happened to me and everything that's going on and continually going on, as if I can't do anything to defend myself. So the only way I can defend myself in the reality of things, being that the RICO law is being committed on me, is make videos and make everybody aware what's going on and why people are doing this to me by trying to make me look like somebody I'm not, and or defaming me, and or targeting me, trying to harass me everywhere I go. The first individual I was talking about, the friend, I can talk a little bit slower, I do know psychology, but I want you to know that I'm not premeditating any of my thoughts. Mostly I'm just talking freely from what I understand from inside the depths of my spirit and soul, and I'm giving that to all of you. Originally, my first friend, when he said to me when I was hanging out with him at the beginning, he was sitting at the table and he was talking to me about his mother. Right around that time, his mother started taking pills, and he was very upset at his stepfather about it, and I comforted the man. I told him that everybody needs some kind of loophole or some way out to relax, given the way everything is conducted around them. Everybody looks for something to make them feel a little bit more peaceful. So she was taking a little pill every night to go to sleep, and I actually made him feel better. I comforted him. I made it so he wasn't mad at his stepdad and that he felt better about the situation. A few days after that, his mother asked him, "Why do you hang out with him?" He doesn't smoke cigarettes. It was actually a vape pen, and he said to me, "My mother asked me why I hang out with you." And I told her, "Because you're wise." So when he said that, I'd never heard anybody call me wise, being at my 35 years or 34 years of life. Being how old I was at the time, I never realized how intelligent I was when it came to wisdom given the situation at hand, such as psychology. When it comes to psychology and all of you try to actually label people of if they're crossing their arms or being defensive, if a person's blinking, they could be lying, all that stuff is inaccurate. I studied every CIA, FBI agent I could on YouTube, and I've read everything I could. You all don't know what you're talking about. You have not the slightest idea, and I've never heard a conversational phrase from you that actually made sense when it comes to the demeanor and the way somebody carries themselves by their posture of themselves. I don't understand, all of you, why you can't figure out psychology. See, if I wasn't so advanced in psychology, given what's going around me, I wouldn't be able to defend myself. I am the most disabled person there is in the entire United States because I'm being targeted, and I can't get an authority figure to recognize it, and all they have to do is watch me and see the headlights go on and off. It's not difficult, or follow the paper trail. So that means everybody I contact with is either getting bribed, intercepted, or they're just too scared to investigate and actually help me, to believe me. Because CIA, FBI, NSA, NASA, deep state government, they know about everything that goes on behind closed doors that the public does not need to know. The military knows, and high-ranking officers and high-ranking generals, 3-star, 4-star, they know about everything. So they know everything I'm saying right now is truth, but nobody's actually trying to help me with my life. I should be financially stable by right now to an extent that is beyond measures of understanding with everything that I've actually created and thought, being ideas, creational designs, and anything of intellectual design. I have thought of a lot of things and simplified many things, and it's being stolen from by an occult, and they're making themselves look very intelligent when they're not intelligent at all. See, everybody has a personality and a demeanor that they carry. Everybody. And I'm sorry for walking around, but it makes me feel better. However, be that may, I'm going to keep walking. I hope it doesn't ruin this video. My future videos will be better. I do apologize. But everybody has a distinct personality, a mannerism, you will, the way they carry themselves. So some people cross their arms because that's their personality, just because it makes them feel comfortable. Some people cross their arms because they're just doing it just because it makes them feel comfortable, and or they're just doing it without thought because that's a position that they remember to go to. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're being in a defensive stance. None of that is true. However, to understand a liar, all you have to do is talk to them because they're delayed in speech, because they won't know what to say. And their actions coming at you, the way they're carrying themselves, their spirit produces energy that some individuals can pick up. Sometimes they call these people empaths. Empaths. And there are individuals that can sense other individuals on what they're actually really doing, opposed to what they're doing on the physical level. And if I wasn't so intelligent with psychology, this is what that first individual said to me toward the end of our friendship. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's because you're surrounded by assholes. I think I said that in an earlier video, and I apologize if there's a child watching, but it's true, and that is what he said, and that's a quote. He said, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's because you're surrounded by assholes. So all these key phrases that this individual, this first one, was saying to me, along with the second one, and knowing that they were trying to recruit me, and they decided to steal from me because they didn't need anything from me at all, and they didn't want me to have a life because they wanted to steal my life. Yeah, it's not hard to figure out what's going on. I was going to get prepared to be the next presidential candidate, and I was going to get in front of the screen. I work so hard. You have no idea how hard of a worker I am. I do my best when I do something, and I do stuff when I work freely. I add on to. I do more than I'm being asked, and I've said this before in an earlier video. I have a very good memory. Now, this occult that's targeting me, what they want, because they always say, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I want. You know, David said, thou shalt not want. Didn't say it like that, but you know. It's going against scripture, because when you want, it's something that you want to take usually from somebody else, from your neighbor or somebody else at all. So you're envious of them, and you want what they have, or you want something that you really don't need at all. Now, everybody gets things that they don't need, and you deserve it if you work for it. However, but when you use the word "your want," that does disgust me. It should be a like, a desire of the heart, or need. Wants overtaking. Because if you like something, you can get it. But don't want something that's another individual, because that want can lead to that, because of the way this occult conducts themselves. I understand the way the workings of it, how they do it, and why they're doing it, most of it, because I've been targeted since 2015-16 when I helped Trump win the presidency. Now, I have no reason to lie about any of this. How do I understand psychology? Do riddle me that. If I'm somebody that's mental, why do I understand psychology? I always usually tell the truth 99.9% of the time, always. Because the truth usually sets you free. The more honest you are, people connect with that. And if you're not honest, you can't be connected with, because you're a dishonest individual and you're only connecting with words. Now, all of you that are watching this video, it could be a few weeks, a few months, or a few years later after these videos are posted, because I'm going to look for publicity. It'll come back around because somebody in authority of FBI, CIA, or somebody in deep state government, or somebody that has a lot of mammon of funds might actually help me and give me charity so I can start a church. And I can explain everything that's going on. And if you want to censor me, no, let's not say want. If you need to censor me, because some things the American people don't really need to know because they'd be in a panic. Obviously, some things should be classified. But other things, everybody should know what is going on. You should have transparency. I wrote that word up. Being transparent. But what is going on transparent around you right now? Nothing's changed since the propaganda in the last election. Where's your wall? No mainstream audience is talking about, where's our wall at? Mexico's going to pay for the wall. I mean, that carried him through the election. I didn't want a wall. I'm not a wanter. I didn't think we needed a wall. I would like a wall that's an interchangeable city, because when people go to Passover, they can stay there. You'll know who they are, and they can come in through the border freely. They just go through, grab an ID, and come right over. Just like when you go to Canada for 6 months. It should be allowed to pass through, but you need to know who's going into your country with just an ID. Everybody should have identification. That's where theft happens. That's where people take advantage of other people, and that's where killings happen. Because if somebody comes into the country, you don't know who they are, well, they're going around unidentifiable, and they can almost do anything they want. Even with technology in place, with all your cameras and surveillance of everything that you have, even your stoplight cameras for when people run red lights that can see 2 miles away if you zoom in. You have so much surveillance around everybody, you're infringing on people's rights at this point because you're stealing from people rather than protecting them, because it's not protecting them at all, because people do cyber theft. And that's something that is going on in this world, where people steal everybody's intellectual knowledge through the internet because it's easily accessible if you know how to hack. If you know how to do command prompts and hack somebody's computer and you have access to that technology, you can hack anything you desire, anything you want, anything you need, anything you like. You can take it from another individual. You can clone their cell phones. You can download their cell phones. You can hack their computer. You can make it so their internet goes out. You can scramble their GPS. I have screenshots of my GPS on multiple different devices being scrambled because they didn't want me to know where I was going, and they wanted me to get lost when I was in the middle of nowhere, and they did that to me for like 2 years. I sent in every single piece of evidence I needed to show what was going on and showing that to the police. Calling 911, CIA, FBI, sent screenshots. I've done everything, and nobody will even talk to me because they don't want to get me out of this situation. I am the American citizen that is supposed to be in your White House right now because Trump is stealing my personality, and Kellyanne Conway knows that. She said, well, his name wasn't on the ballot. See, where they made their mistakes at is when I was watching Fox News, as they kept showing me clips of them talking to me because they knew I was watching. And deep state government, FBI, CIA, anybody behind closed doors, NSA, NASA, I'm sorry I'm forgetting a few of you, but all you know this goes on and how they do things in the deep state. You all are aware. So sooner or later, one of you have to have a heart instead of two brains because you're not thinking with the right part of your body. Anything that anybody does, absent of the heart, with thought, is never at the highest capacity of what that could have been. Sometimes it takes away from you being, if you're not using heart, you're using heart, but you're doing the right thing usually all the time because you're cycling it through both your brains. Not just the one that's in your head that's connected to the rest of your body parts where you think of warmongering, whoremongering, and destroying the people because it gives you more power and play in the world. See, I don't like that. This is why that occult didn't like me, because I was so honest and trustworthy. I was faithful and true. I wouldn't hurt the American people. If you turn your back on me and there's $1 million you're leaving with me and it's yours, I won't touch a dime. It's yours. Why would I take something from you that's not mine? I don't even pick change up off the ground because I think somebody else might come around and pick it up that lost it. I picked a dollar bill up once. That's about it. Other than that, I won't even pick anything up off the ground. And I really needed that dollar that day because I had no money. So I thank God for it. And I prayed about it. And I thank Jesus Christ for it because I was really thirsty. But other than that, I don't take away from somebody else that don't belong to me. And I give credit to everybody that deserves the credit. This individual, the first individual, he ran ammunition in the military. And you're not supposed to talk about that you were in the military. I was in the military for a short time. It turned out bad. I got an other than honorable. I would have went career. But individuals have been targeting me for a long time. A very long time. And people do not like it. When you come off more intelligent than they are, whenever they're supposed to be your superior, they don't like you at all because they see you super exceeding them in what they're doing and doing a better design of creation than what they already did. So they frown upon you for that. They hiss at you for that. They say, no. Why are you doing it like that even though it's better? You should do it my way. Or they turn a cheek and they act like that's not what you should be doing at all, and you should be doing their way whenever your way is properly right. Yeah, that's 4. See, I remember all of you because you gave me post-traumatic stress imprints everywhere I'm going. And what you're doing is this deep state, these people, this occult that's targeting me, they surround me with individuals to try to make it look like I'm crazy so where nobody would listen to me. But I am too intelligent for that. I'm sorry. You know, I can make mistakes. It takes me a while to learn on some things, and some things I have to study for a long time, and some things I catch on quick. but I'm aware of the headlights that are going to turned on and turned off on me, and I remember everything since the beginning because this isn't supposed to be my life. Do you understand? I worked hard to get a job at that news station and on Trump's presidency on his team, and nobody wanted to put me in a seat. I don't understand that. My computer, yeah. Remember a few years back whenever we surrounded North Korea after they were saying little rocket man Trump was? I exited helping online and typing things up for them because I got mad because they kicked me out and I didn't know they were going to target me. But when they sent that sub, you notice China and Russia followed right behind us. And when we were going over there, I drew up battle plans to surround North Korea to calm him down because sanctions don't work. You're telling me right now with the dark web and the black market and people can't buy things behind closed doors, but you're trying to say, let's sanction them so they can't do it legally? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in the government of the United States, next to a few other things. Because I don't understand. I drew that up and my computer got screenshotted. Then I went over to the second friend's house and he's telling me what he's doing, going like this. And I'm like thinking, what are you doing? I thought I was going to be a part of the group because if they were looking to me for wisdom, well, they would be doing the right thing rather than the wrong thing and then hurting people of the American people. And because I wouldn't allow it, I will take bullets to the chest and head. I would die before I betray somebody that I care about and or even love. I don't believe in that. I'm a man now. I'm not a child. I used to think as a child, but now I think as a man when I grew up. And I don't do those types of things. And all of you that are listening to this, how could I be lying about any of this, talking as quick as I am, whenever you have satellite surveillance and you could see things? Seriously, when I met that one guy, there was this woman that I was talking about earlier in videos, and I didn't sleep with her, and I went on 2 dates with her. The one guy worked for NASA. And he didn't like me too much for some reason. He thought I was a masochist. I was in fire for 4 minutes, okay? I can take pain. Well, anyways, he said, what do you know about drones? And I'm like, well, the speed of light goes 282 miles per second. And I started explaining something. They're like, wow. But I was so tired, I didn't get to explain so much more. But he hurt my feelings because he wanted me to go by the pool in shorts, and I have to watch my legs because I can get cancer quick from the sun. So I have to take precautionary measures to make sure nothing happens to me and I don't gain cancer. But this man was trying to put me in front of the pool. He hurt my feelings. I was up for 3 days. My stepfather was just kicked off a motorcycle and killed. He didn't drive off the side of the road. Not my uncle, my stepdad. He didn't go off the side of the road. That would never happen. I knew my stepdad. He wasn't the greatest man. He wasn't a good man. He was an okay man, but he was an excellent bike rider, and there was several other people with him. So if something happened and he went off the road, somebody kicked him off the road. And don't get me talking about Bayonet Point Hospital, about what was going on with my grandmother. I'm going to explain that in later videos. Who can make this up? I can tell you what they were saying and what they were doing to my grandmother with me right there. Thinking I can't do anything because I'm not of authority. If I was FBI or CIA or I was anything in government, this wouldn't be happening to me because I'd have friends in the government to protect me and I'd have a little group. But that one individual says, if you can't help yourself, you can't help anybody at all. And that first individual said to me when we were talking and having a good discussion, he says to me, I don't know why you have to have any friends. Walking out into the living room, I can CGI reanimation this into a computer with the individual saying it because I can actually see the vision of them doing it in my head. I have that ability. I'm a good investigator. There was a crime that was going on a few years back online, and this is when I thought I was in the group, and I was helping them with it. I knew it was the woman was buried in the cornfield, some young girl, because of the interviews, and the guy was perspiring a spirit where he was just pathologically lying, acting like he didn't know what was going on, and then they found her out there in the cornfield. And the guy comes up and says, cornfield. I helped out with a lot of things. There was another case I helped out on that I typed up, and they used it, which a girl was pregnant, a woman, and a man and her husband didn't like her. He wanted to get rid of her, and he wanted to have the kid. So right before the court date, she went out on a date with somebody and disappeared, and it turned out that guy knew somebody in her family. That's as far as I know about it. I don't know, I didn't get any credit for it or anything like that, but I can read people whenever you're talking. I understand people when you're talking. Because if you're a liar, you say things as such. I had a fire at my apartment in the back room. And the 20-something firemen and 4 police officers. I mean, it was a great show. They showed up so quick, I don't even understand what was going on. My back window was open, my alarm was disabled, and there was a fire in my room. And the guy said to me, right to my face, "There goes that hoverboard." Because I used to write things up like, I would rather the United States of America go to George Jetson's and make us a utopia in this country and better our country and have everybody else follow than keep doing what we're doing by always going back to the Flintstones days because everybody wants to go to war. More people in the military usually causes more wars, and that's where you get your widows and fatherless children from, because you're fighting other people's battles, because the people that are actually ruling this country and or this world, given the world order, they don't care about you. Not even a little bit. You're cattle to them. That's all you are. You're tagged on the ear and you get sheeped around. That's all they care about is that. And if I would have ran for president, it wouldn't have been like that, and I would have cycled all those people out. Instead, what the number 2 person said to me, he says, "You're helping some bad people out." And I thought they'd stop. So when you realize what I did by giving them direction and putting Trump in the White House, I brought a bunch of thieves and criminals into our government of the United States because they started using my words. How about you Democrats, when you didn't have my work and the Republicans did, and then all of a sudden like 26 of you wanted to run for president of the United States? Huh, Greg? I'll say your name. You live by this stuff. Well, if you live by my words and the things I said, that's a bad question. That's a good question, or that's a lower thought of questioning. If you did, I wouldn't be in this situation, and I would be offered jobs in the government, no matter what credentials I have, because of the words I speak and how intelligent I am show and display my mannerism of who I really am. None of this games of out here where nobody's allowed to talk to me to not see how intelligent I am. You 2 first friends, I don't mean to be mean, but you're not wise. You might be smart, Jeremy. I can't believe I'm saying your name this further in, but I'm going to. You're a bookworm. You're smart. But you said never study stuff online to Chucky. I'm saying their names now because it's further videos, because you both did this to me. And Chucky, what about that giant circle you drew in the backyard? Would you like me to reanimate that up? You drew a giant circle in the backyard, which was witchcraft. I don't know what you conjured, but you told me not to go back out there, and then shortly after that, that's whenever you both kicked me to the wayside and you said, "I don't care about your kids." And then all of a sudden, Jeremy wanted to stop talking to me, and I don't understand why you 2 blew me off until I realized it was because I made Trump president. His mother used to jump out of planes, my first friend, and she messaged Trump on Twitter. And he said to me while I was at his brother's house, he's like, "Why don't you message Trump on Twitter?" Well, why don't you tell the truth where you're getting your information from when you're getting promoted? You know the first friend's mom? I called her mother when I was at the second friend's house on the patio because I thought his mother loved me. Because he'd make little innuendo comments as if she did, and he was trying to get me with his sister. But she was married at the time, but he would abandon her because he had many girlfriends on the side. And then my first friend's wife, he says to her, "Why don't you try beating him?" And I didn't understand what was going on. And she's like, "You want to go skydiving?" Like she was going to try to kill me or something. And I didn't understand what was going on. And then she says to me when I'm doing a job with him, she's walking across the living room when we're laying tile, and she's like, "I'm sorry for holding you back." And I'm thinking, why? Why would you interfere with my life and hold my life back when I have a family to take care of? I have a son that I've been trying to get to, that I'm trying to be around, that I'm trying to keep intelligent. I don't understand why they're doing this to me. It doesn't make any sense. I would have negotiated. I'm not a lunatic. All of you are lunatics for not negotiating with me. You're psychopaths. You have some kind of ignorant mentality that just displays a demeanor that's just sickening to the soul. If you have one, unless you sold it to the devil, and you don't have one anymore. I don't understand why anyone's doing this to me at all. You first 2 individuals, it all originated with you, and I'll never forget you 2, and you both think you're invincible. I've been messaging you both on Facebook for a couple years now when what was going on. I've been leaving a paper trail. I don't break laws. I can get so mad, I can get angry to a point where my chest is huffy and puffy, and I can probably pick up 1,500 pounds and hurt myself and throw my back out and throw it. And I still won't do anything illegal. Because if I haven't done anything illegal yet, I'm not going to, and you're not going to get me to, because that's how you'd like to get rid of me. And it's not going to happen. See, this disability thing, I shouldn't even be on it. But it's true, though. I am disabled, just not what was written up, but with what they did. Did you know they pulled my records without any permission? And all those records, if anybody looks through them, they'll be like, what is this stuff? He should never even been sent to this place. Why did the judge sign off on it? Investigate her life, and you'll see that she's part of the occult, too. This is just unreal. And then I had somebody say to me, Rick Scott. So, Rick Scott, you're targeting me too? I thought you used my words beautiful. You parrot them very good. You used word for word. Even the Filipino president used all my words. I would kill myself, blah, 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 blah. That was all me. And you're spreading my work around all over because you're listening to me on my phones and on my devices, and I kept typing everything up on the internet on what to do because I can't help myself but try to help. But I have no financial stability. If I had money and mammon, if I would have got that 1.3% of Facebook like they were telling me they were going to give me because somebody owned 2.1% of Facebook, I would have gotten $1 billion. I would have watched what I said, but I would have had a life, and I would have started fixing everything. I would have went to the right places, talked to the right people, got the right people together, and really fixed everything for everybody because I spent the time studying what everybody else didn't study. Because you go to college, you don't go online to study everything. You don't search through all the pages, and it's hard for people to detect truth because they need it handed to them. Like Einstein. He worked at a patent office. He got everybody's work. He worked at a patent office, so everything that was going across him was true because they were trying to patent it, so it was verified that it was truth. He didn't have to go through the internet and study everybody else's work and read through everything to decipher what is true and what's not true. Einstein had everything handed to him, and he was wrong about time. Time is not an illusion. Time is just how you see time for your own conductive living life. Being your biological intelligence of your consciousness, you judge something by time, and we use the speed of light for that, but we have to adjust it. The Egyptians used to use the Nile River, the rising and the falling of the tides, and they had a different amount of days to the year. But we can all judge time in different ways. We can all make clocks. And you do Eastern, Western, Central because of where the sun is shining at and where it's not shining at all. See, time is not an illusion. Einstein was wrong on so many things, and I wrote all that up, and I don't know who's getting credit for it, but how would I know this stuff? How? Do riddle me this. How would I know the things that I'm saying and getting that information if I'm not watching cable TV? A year I was watching Fox News as I thought I was going to work there because they kept talking to me. They really did. I'm not lying about it. You deep state know it. And when I was at Chantilly, those speakers in my wall, that was true. You were listening to me because there was a college down there that was taking everything I was saying, and that one guy comes up there and says, you know, we'll be able to go to the moon later. You've been going to the moon. We've been on there. I can take a telescope, look at the moon, and see things along the side of it. Anybody can do that. That was very sloppy work where how you built on the dark side of the moon because you went all the way to the sides. That's just common sense. Anybody can verify that with a good telescope. I don't understand why you're all doing this to me. And then they come on and the screen right before they started really torturing me when I moved up to Virginia Beach. They're like, he's going to give away all our secrets because they do video rendering animation. They can take somebody talking and make them start saying something different, and they can re-CGI it, and it looks like they were saying it. And they were saying that to me. Oh, he's going to give away all our secrets. See, I was never going to do that. See, I just wanted to have a life, but now I got to make all these videos so everybody that's watching me and everybody that wants to hear about this conspiracy can learn things because I'm telling the truth about everything. So everybody gets to know then. If I don't get to have a life, then everybody should know the truth, shouldn't they? Because if I don't get to have a life, that means you're destroying my family because I can't take care of my family because you're trying to make it look like somebody I'm not. But you two first individuals, you think you're scot-free and clear with what you're doing to me. You don't think I see these Filipinos coming around. Jeremy, really? Your wife's dad built a little village for women? right? So whenever you have these Filipinos messaging me, I just had the other day, I had a Filipino message me on Facebook because I was researching witchcraft. And she's like, oh, I want to add a fellow witch. And I told her I have an occult targeting me. She's like, how do you know? And she wrote mental right away. She's like, watch my videos. And then I say something to her and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But she does witchcraft and she's teaching witchcraft. But if you say anything where somebody's targeting you because it can hurt you, she said mental. And she's a Filipino. So these Filipinos from his family are targeting me because I didn't get with his wife's sister, because when they were standing in the room and I was doing that one job where she said, I'm sorry for holding you back, Jeremy looks up at her and says, yeah, he says it all the time, saying fat because she was heavy set. And I don't talk like that. I've been with heavy set women. That wasn't true, but they were lying to her. So I wrote this thing up about how children usually gravitate toward the mother because the mother carries the child in the womb. The mother is usually very attentive toward the child with breastfeeding. So usually, typically,